Welcome to the class where we'll be taking up a course to learn the Spanish language. Our course is named as Español Hecho Fácil. That means Spanish made easy. And we'll make sure it actually turns out to be easy to learn and use the language with the help of this course. If you find out in the market and check with the courses provided for Spanish language, it is generally seen that they have divided the course in 6 different levels that will be called as A1, A2, B1, B2 and C1, C2. But here we'll keep it simple and cover everything in just 3 levels. That will be basic level, intermediate level and advanced level. Now these levels are classified depending on its level of difficulty or understanding. Now don't worry, even if the levels are lesser than the market, the quality and learning coursework will be superior. As you are new to the learning of this language, we obviously are going to start with the basics. So for the basic level, we'll incorporate all the following topics. First, we are going to start with Spanish alphabets and numbers. Then we'll move on to definite and indefinite articles, nouns, prepositions, interrogatives, regular and irregular comparatives, direct and indirect object and subject pronouns, demonstrative adjectives, possessive adjectives and pronouns, regular and irregular verb conjugations that will be dealt in 5 tenses, that will be present indicative, present continuous, present perfect, also called as past participle, future and imperative. The learning of this module will also consist of various pictures or dialogue demonstrations, various exercises, drills and application modules for the better understanding of the language. Before we start learning the language, let us first understand a brief background of Spanish language. On the top right corner, you can see the map of Spain just for your reference. El Castellano or Spanish, or also called as Español, is the national and official language of Spain. The map of Spain on the top right corner given above illustrates the regional distribution of language across the Spain. In Catalonia, they speak Catalan with its variants. In Valencia, over here, they speak Valenciano, and in the Balearic Islands, over here, the islands over here, they speak Mallorquin. In the Basque country, that's above, the language spoken is Vascoins, and finally in the north, in Galicia, they speak Gallego. Spanish is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world today, with more than 400 million speakers. It is the official language in more than 20 countries, and it is also an official language, one of the 6 official languages in UN. Now these are the countries where Spanish is an official language. Plus, the importance of Spanish in the United States continues to increase. By now, you must be feeling good that, wow, the language which we are going to learn is so widely spoken and used. Along with being such a famous language, Spanish is also attractive and a beautiful language. So without wasting any time, let's start with it. For learning any language, you need to know its basics. And what more basic can it be than learning alphabets? So here we are with the alphabets in Spanish. Before starting with the course, I would like to suggest you that you have a blank paper or notebook and pen or pencil to jot down whatever you can. It will also be better if you could carry a Spanish-English dictionary for your reference. No language can be learnt by just watching or hearing. The more you write, the more better it will be. So let's start. The Spanish alphabet is commonly referred to as abecedario. The Spanish abecedario has 30 different letters as illustrated in the table below. Somewhere in some book you would find 29 letters only because they would have omitted a letter called R over here. Where possible, the aid of English words incorporating the sound of these Spanish letter names is taken in order to demonstrate the approximate sound of these letter names. The underlined sections of these English words denote the pronunciation of these Spanish letter names. So let's start. There are 30 different letters in Spanish. So let's start. A is pronounced as A, and this underlines means how it is pronounced in this English word, that is far. In this we get a pronunciation of A. That's why we pronounce the letter A in Spanish as A. B is be. C is say. CH is che, just like what we pronounce in the English word chain. So just remove the N and what we get is che. D is de. E is a. F is efe. G is k. H is ache. I is e. J khota. K ka. L ele. Double L ia. M ma. N na. N with a tilde mark above N is called ani, just like we pronounce the pronunciation in these words of English canyon and onion. So the pronunciation in between anye, that's how this letter is pronounced. O P pe. Q ku. R erre. Double R erre. It is just with a stress. S esse. T te. U u. V ve or uve. W uve doble or W, ek akis. Y, Y, Z or Z as zeta. Now that's the 30 letters we have, the 30 alphabets in Spanish. Now note these 4 points over here. First point is what we have on Y letter in Spanish, that is pronounced as Y, but when it is pronounced or used in any of the words, it is not pronounced as Y, it is just pronounced as E, same as the I letter. So for example, HOY is OI, it's not HOY, it is OI. Y is pronounced as E. Also note that the letter H is mostly silent in all the words of Spanish. So it is not pronounced anywhere. Next point, if we note that there are 4 extra alphabets in Spanish abecedario that is not existing in the English alphabet series. And those 4 alphabets are CH, N with a tilde, double L and double R. In some grammar books, this double R letter will be excluded. The letters K and W only appear in the words of foreign origin, such as karate, water polo, kiwi, etc. So that's all with the alphabet series in Spanish. Let's try pronouncing it once more. Hear them carefully. A, B, C, Ch, D, E, F, K, H, I, Khota, Ka, L, I, M, N, Anye, O, P, Q, R, R, S, T, U, V or UV, UV doble or W, Akis, Y and Zeta. Now that we know the alphabets and their pronunciation, keep it practicing by writing and reading it several times to get the pronunciation right. Next, we move on to vowels in Spanish. Just as we have it in English, same can be seen over here. We have got 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U, but that was in English. So over here, we'll be pronouncing it in Spanish, that is A, E, O, U. First, we'll take the first alphabet, A. It is pronounced as the A in fa or father. So that's A. Examples: the alphabet A containing words are casa, that's meant as home, costa, that is coast. Next vowel, A or E in English. It is pronounced as E in the word let or end. So here we get A. The words having this vowel are L, that means he or the, ejemplo, that means example. Note over here, this is not ejemplo, this is ejemplo, because J in Spanish is pronounced as jota, k, so it is ejemplo. Next, the alphabet I in English pronounced in Spanish as E, just as in the word cigarette, so we get a pronunciation of E. The words are mirar, that means to look, and another word for example is idea, that means idea. Next letter, O in English, pronounced O in Spanish, just like in the words low and cold, we get a pronunciation O. The words for example are sol, that means sun, poco, that means little. Over here, sorry for the mistake in this word. Next letter, U in English and U in Spanish, just as we get a pronunciation in the word rude, that's U, or in the word moon, just like U over here. Examples of this vowel in words are alguno, that means some, and Uruguay, that's a place, a country. Now that was with the vowels. There are two consonants in Spanish which have got special rules for themselves, the consonant G and C. Now we have got a table over here to demonstrate what those rules are. If you see the alphabet G followed by alphabet A, it is pronounced as ga. For example, gato. If you have letter G followed by O, it is pronounced as go. For example, gordo. If you have got letter G followed by U, it is pronounced as gu, that's gusto. If you're thinking what these letters means or these words means, gato means cat, gordo means fat, gusto means pleasure. We move next. G, if is followed by E, it is pronounced as K. It is not pronounced as gay, it is pronounced as K. And for example, we have a word called gente. Gente. Gente means people. And if we have got letter G followed by I, it is pronounced as ki. Ki. It is not gi, it is ki. For example, ginebra. Ginebra means rum or brandy. Similarly, we have got the consonant C. C plus A is pronounced as ka. For example, casa. Casa means home. C, if followed by O, it is pronounced as ko. For example, cola. C plus U gives the pronunciation ku. For example, cuchara. Cuchara means spoon. If the letter C is followed by E, it is pronounced as se. For example, cerdo. C, if followed by I, it is pronounced as si. For example, cigarillo. This is not cigarillo, this is cigarillo, because the double L is an alphabet pronounced as IE. So this gives the pronunciation cigarillo, that means cigarette. Now that we are acquainted with the alphabets, we'll learn next very basic thing, and that is numbers. Instead of explaining the rules and then reading out the numbers, I'll start directly with spelling out each number for you, and simultaneously I'll explain their corresponding rules or instructions. Numbers in Spanish is called as números. The number 0 is called cero. 1, uno, 2, dos, 3, tres, 4, cuatro, 5, cinco, 6, seis, 7, siete, 8, ocho, 9, nueve, 10, diez. Again, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20. Once again, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29, 29, 30, 30. From 21 to 29, there's a pattern that we take up 20 and 1. So 21, that's 21, 22, so 22, 22, and so on. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 is 30, 31, 31, that is 30 and 1. When we see the letter Y, it is denoted as and, the way which we use in English and. Similarly, 30 and 1. So, 31, 32, 32, 33, 33, 34, 34, 35, 35, 36, 36, 37, 37, 38, 38, 39, 39, 40, 40. Once again, the pattern is very simple. Just write 30 and 1, 30 and 2. So we start 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Now the pattern which we have seen from 31 to 40, same rule or same pattern will be followed from 41 to 99. That is the same pattern. Like if we want to write 31, we write 30 and 1. This same pattern will be followed from the number 41 till 99. So for example, if we want to write 42, we'll say 40 and 2. So 40 is 40 and is the letter Y, and 2 is dos. So 42, that is 42, and so on. The same pattern will be followed from 41 to 99. So there's nothing much to explain in it. We'll move ahead and we'll see what these numbers are pronounced or called as. 50 is called as cincuenta, cincuenta. 60 is called sesenta, sesenta. 70 is called as setenta, setenta. 80 is called as ochenta, ochenta. 90 is called as noventa, noventa. 100 is called as cien, cien. And the in between numbers, just as said before, follows the same pattern which was seen in 31 to 40. So if we want to write 72, we'll write setenta y dos. If we want to write 86, we'll write as ochenta y seis. So as a matter of practice, you can try that yourself. 101 is said ciento uno. 102 ciento dos. 103 ciento tres, and so on. And if we want to write 151, that's 151. So there's a normal rule, ciento cincuenta y uno, that's 100, 50 and 1. So ciento cincuenta y uno. 200 is called as dos cientos. 201, doscientos uno. 202 as doscientos dos, and so on. 300 trescientos. 400 cuatrocientos. 500 quinientos. 600 seiscientos. 700 setecientos. 800 ochocientos. 900 novecientos. 1000 mil. 1002 mil dos. 1550, that will be 1000 means mil, 500 that means quinientos, and 50 means cincuenta. 2000 dos mil, 100,000. 100,000 1 million. Un millón. Again I repeat, the double L is not millon. Double L is pronounced as IA, and that's how we get the pronunciation of 1 million as un millón. 2 million, dos millones, dos millones. So we'll just repeat these two tables once again. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 101, 102, 103, 200, 201, 202, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000, 1002, 1550, 2000, 100,000, un millón, 2 millones. Now that we have seen the conversation, let's move ahead and we'll review the verb ser one more time. As I said, this is the most important basic grammar you have to learn. So let's revise it one more time. The verb ser, it has got the conjugations as soy, eres, es, somos, sois, son. Yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es, nosotros somos, vosotros sois, ellos, ellas, ustedes son. Again, to repeat the rule, soy cannot go with any other subject pronoun except yo. Soy is corresponding only and only to yo. Similarly, the others, eres is corresponding to tú and not for anybody else. Similarly with es, somos, sois and son. Also, we are learning or we are writing up till now the statements. So it is pretty much like English statements. So if you say yo soy italiano, that means I am Italian. While writing in Spanish, it is not necessary to write these subject pronouns. That's because of the rule which we have learned, that soy always goes with yo, eres always goes with tú. So even if I write only soy or only eres or only es, it means that they are corresponding to their own subject pronoun. But it is also sometimes compulsory to write subject pronouns if you want to emphasize on some person. Like if I write es and some adjective like Italian or Italiano, es Italiano, that means él es Italiano, he is Italian. Suppose there is an adjective, or I want to state that a person is a student, and if I write es estudiante, in this statement es estudiante, I am not able to get whether that person is a boy or a girl. So in that case, it is necessary to write él or ella, that means he or she. Rest of the cases, it is not required as such. Down here we can see the note which I have already explained you while doing the conversation module, that the negative always comes before the verb and the adjective always comes after the noun. Make sure that you have written this rule somewhere down in your notebook, so it's necessary while framing any sentences. Now we'll move on, and here we have got two exercises which of course you have to solve. The first exercise, we have got some statements over here on the left hand side. There are some subject pronouns written in red, and on the right hand side you have to answer them. So how to do this exercise is, read the first statement. For example, yo soy italiano, I am Italian. The subject pronoun written in red is nosotros. So what you have to do is, you have to refer this statement and convert this statement according to the subject pronoun written in red. Before converting, it was yo soy italiano, and after converting according to this subject pronoun nosotros, we have the answer as somos italianos. So we have got somos, that is corresponding to nosotros, and since this original statement yo soy italiano was singular, nosotros is plural because there are a group of persons, so italiano also changes to Italianos. In this manner, you have to solve the rest of them. Here you have been provided with the statements. In the red, there are subject pronouns according to which you have to answer. That was with the exercise 1. Exercise 2 is also kind of similar with the exercise 1, but in exercise 2 there are question answers. And there is a twist in this. The exercise 1 is purely, the answers will be purely positive statements. In exercise 2, you have to write all the statements, all the answers in negative. For example, the first one, ¿Eres americano? This question means, are you American? And I have answered, no soy americano. I am not American. Please refer the rule of negative and adjectives if required for writing down these answers. The rule stated that the negative comes before the verb. So, no soy americano. In this manner, you have to answer these questions in these blanks or in your notebook. Be honest while solving, and after you solve these two exercises, you can refer to these answers and check the results of what you have written. After you are done with these exercises, let's move ahead and we'll learn another interesting thing, and that are anatomies, or also called as opposites. The first one, el café es barato. That means the coffee is cheap. El Jerez es caro. That means the sherry is expensive. So we have learned two new words called barato and caro. Those are opposites. Barato means cheap and caro means expensive. Next, el sombrero es viejo. The hat is old. Sombrero means hat, viejo means old. El libro es nuevo. The book is new. Libro means book and nuevo means new. Next, Pedro es alto. Pedro is tall. Alto means tall. If it's a girl over here, you'll replace O with A and you will write alta. Miguel es bajo. This is not bajo, this is bajo. Miguel is short. Bajo means short. Again, if it's a girl over here, you will replace it with O with A. So, it will become baja. El hombre es gordo. The man is fat. Hombre means man. Gordo means fat. El hombre es delgado. The man is thin. Delgado means thin. El vino es bueno. The wine is good. El perro es malo. The dog is bad. Perro means dog and malo means bad. If you remember that while learning the common expressions, we had dealt with a word called mal or muy mal. Mal means bad and muy mal means very bad. But that was used only for the greeting purpose or statement purpose. If you are denoting a person or any noun, you have to write it as malo and not only mal. Okay, so there we are. I hope you have learned a few new words in here as well. Here we are going to learn something new that will be called as definite and indefinite articles. Definite articles denote the both in the singular and plural, whereas indefinite articles denote a or an and some for plural, a and an for singular and some for plural. Unlike English, in Spanish there are different definite and indefinite articles for the singular and plural, which change according to the gender of the noun. And how we are going to change according to the gender and according to singular and plural, this table will show you the rules for doing it. First, we'll concentrate on only definite articles. If it's masculine, and how to check it is masculine noun, here is the rule. The rule is 97% of the words ending in L, O, N, E, R or S. If any word is ending in these letters or one of these letters, it is a masculine noun. That's for 97% of the cases. There are few exceptions, but this is seen generally. And for feminine, 98% of the words ending in D or ION, eon, or Z or Z or A. If any word is ending in one of these letters, then that word is feminine for 98% of the cases. Have a look at this very carefully. This is eon, this is ION together and not separate. So a word ending in eon together will be feminine. Okay, now we'll see about definite articles. If a definite article, we want to use definite article for masculine and singular, we have to use the definite article L. That means the. If we want to use a definite article for masculine and plural, then we have to use los. That also means the. If we are using definite article for feminine and singular, we'll use la. That means the. And if you are going to use definite article for feminine and plural, then we'll use las. That also means the. So once again, if it is singular and masculine, the definite article will be el. If it is plural and masculine, the definite article will be los. If it is singular and feminine, it is la. And if it is plural and feminine, it is las. So those are the definite articles: el, los, la, las. Next, we also have got indefinite articles. Indefinite articles are a or a, an and some. A or an is for singular and some is for plural. Again, we have the rule like if it is singular and masculine, then un is the indefinite article. If it is plural and masculine, unos is the indefinite article. If it is singular and feminine, una is the indefinite article. And if it is plural and feminine, unas is the indefinite article. So the indefinite articles are un, unos for masculine and una, unas for feminine. Here, down here we can see one examples of each. La casa. Now over here, casa. refer to the rule of feminine and masculine and check what letter is at the ending of that word. And we have got A as the ending letter. A comes in feminine over here. So, casa is feminine word. And that's why while using the definite or indefinite articles, we use the feminine part. Since it is singular, we'll use the singular feminine, the indefinite and definite article. So it becomes la casa and una casa. That means the house or a house. Similarly, next word, that is libro. Libro has got O in its ending and O comes in the masculine part. So, since it is singular and masculine, we'll use the definite article el and the indefinite article as un. So, el libro, the book, un libro, a book. For the plural, chicas. Now, note this rule that if it is plural, it already has s or es in the ending. So you have to eliminate the ending s or es of that word and then check what comes in the end of that word. So over here, since it is plural, I'll remove the s and see what is in the ending. And we have got a in the ending. So that's why it is a feminine word, that is chica. Chica means girl and chicas means girls. So it is plural and feminine. So we'll use definite and indefinite articles for plural and feminine. That is las chicas means the girls and unas chicas means some girls. Similarly with this word, it is plural, so we'll remove the s of that ending and see what comes in the ending now. We have got o in the ending and o is satisfying the condition of being a masculine word, and that's how we'll treat this as a masculine word and plural in form. So we use indefinite and indefinite articles of masculine and plural. So los chicos and unos chicos, that is the boys and some boys. Next we'll see some more examples of definite and indefinite articles. We'll read it one by one. El bar, that means the bar. El peluquero means the barber. El huevo means the egg. Note that all these are singular and are satisfying the condition of being masculine. That's why el is used. Similarly, check the words in the ending, the letters in the ending. Over here, we can see that they are plural. So remove the s in the ending. So we get camarero. So ending is o, that's why masculine. So los camareros. Here it is es in the ending. So what we get in the ending is n. Again we have got the condition for being a masculine word. Since it is plural, it is los botones, that means the buttons. Los jardines means the gardens. For feminine, it is la mesa, la secretaria, la campana, means the table, the secretary and the bell. Las enfermeras, las dentistas, las casas, means the nurses, the dentists and the houses. Okay, I think we have got pretty good understanding of definite and indefinite articles and how they change according to the gender and singular and plural forms. So after learning about definite and indefinite articles, let's move on and learn something about the demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives, unlike English, Spanish has three words to denote this and that. So in English we use this and that, but in Spanish we have got three of them. In English we say this or that depending upon whether the object is close to us or far from us. In Spanish, este means this and ese means that. But as I said that we have got three words to denote this and that. So we have got another separate word called aquel or aquel to denote that one over there. That means we have classified that into two types. Ese means that which is a bit far from us, and aquel means that one over there which is more far away from us. Aquel and aquilla imply the remoteness of the object, as in over there or far away from us. Again we have got the rules for gender and the number of noun, that is singular or plural. So we'll learn that first for the masculine and then for the feminine. Masculine, if we remember the rule, loners, L-O-N-E-R-S, the words ending in these letters are masculine for the most of the cases. So in masculine, singular, it is este, that means this, ese means that, and aquel means that one over there, the far one. For plural, it is estos, that means these, esos means those, and aquellos means those, the far one. For feminine, it is for singular, esta means this, esa means that, and aquella means that one over there. And for plural feminine, it is estas, these, esas, those, and aquellas means those, the far one. We'll see this with an example to get a better understanding of demonstrative adjectives. Este libro, that means this is, we have seen that there is masculine noun and a singular. So este libro, this book. Ese libro means that book, and aquel libro means that book which is far more. Similarly with the feminine, esta mesa, mesa means table, esta mesa means this table, esa mesa means that table, and aquella mesa means that table which is farther or far more the distance than any of them. Now that we have learned the demonstrative adjectives, it's time to test what we have learned. So here we have an exercise for you. Example, the statement we have is este vino es bueno. That means this wine is good. The answer is aquel vino también es bueno. That means that wine also is good. So what you have to do is, you are being given 5 statements on the left hand side. On the right hand side you have to change the position of those objects or those persons. Like in the example, este vino, this means this wine. I've changed it to that wine, so I've changed the distance, this to that and that to this. Okay, that's how you'll solve these 5 statements. Also note that I've included one extra word in the statement, and that is también. también means also. There's a rule behind writing the también word in Spanish, and that is it comes before the verb. So, aquel vino también es bueno. That wine also is good. So, change this to that and that to this and write down these answers. After you write down these answers, check the answers for yourself, and I hope you are good to go. As I've been saying about the verb ser, that it has got an very important status in the Spanish grammar. So I hope that you are now more of acquainted with the verb ser. Adding more information to it, the verb ser, that means to be, is used for the fixed state, that is to describe fixed conditions and essential qualities. It is normally used to give personal information and to express the conditions such as, we can see in this table, the conditions such as nationality, place of origin, religion, relationship, profession, economical status, political affiliation, personal description, day, date or time, material or possession. If any of these conditions or qualities if you see or if you want to state in a question or a statement, then you have to use the verb ser. These are the conditions where the verb ser will be applied. So we'll see all these conditions one by one. First, the nationality or place of origin. For example, the question is, ¿De dónde eres? That means, where are you from? I am asking you a question about your place of origin. From where are you? ¿De dónde eres? So that's why I have to include the verb ser. Soy francés. Soy de Paris. I am French. I am from Paris. Again, I am stating my nationality or I am stating my place of origin. So I have to use the verb ser. Next, religion. If I am stating a question or an statement, I have to use the verb ser. Son los Garcias Bautistas. Are the Garcias Baptists? I am asking about the religion. So again I have to use the verb ser. No, son católicos. No, they are Catholics. Next condition, the relationship. Es Julio el tío de Marta? That means, is Julio the uncle of Marta? Over here in this question, I am asking the relation between Julio and Marta, and that's why I have to introduce the verb ser. No, es el primo de Marta. No, he is Marta's cousin. Profession. Es ingeniero? Is he an engineer? No, es médico. No, he is a doctor. Again, if you are saying something about the profession of a person, you have to use the verb ser. Economical status. ¿Eres rico or pobre? Are you rich or poor? Sí, soy rico or pobre. Yes, I am rich or poor. Political affiliation. ¿Sois socialistas? Are you all socialists? No, somos comunistas. No, we are communists. Personal description. ¿Cómo eres? Soy alto. How are you? I am tall. Over here, ¿cómo eres? How are you? This is not the question for asking about your health or about your status. If it is asking you ¿Cómo eres?, you don't have to answer that I am fine. This is not the how are you of your status of your health. It is about your personal description. And thus I have to answer about my description as soy alto, I am tall. Juan es un chico sincere. Juan is a sincere boy. If I'm using any day, date or time, then I have to use the verb ser. Hoy es lunes. Es el 4 de mayo. Today is Monday. It is 4th of May. Material. ¿De qué material es la mesa? Of what material is the table? La mesa es de madera. The table is of the wood. Position. ¿Es la maleta de Jose? Is the bag of Jose? No. ¿Es de Carlos? No, it is of Carlos. As I said in the start of explaining you this table, that the verb ser is used for the fixed state. So if you notice, all these states are fixed for any person. That is, the nationality and place of origin is not going to change for a person. Religion is the same from when you're born till you die. The relationship, like the mother father or uncle aunt, grandparents, grandsons, granddaughters, that's the relationship which is not going to change at any point of time. Profession. If you think that now today I am a student and tomorrow I am going to be an engineer, so if you say that is temporary, actually it is not, because when I'm saying profession, all these states which I have written down in this table are the states which are counted for a long time. If I say I'm an engineer, that means that engineering profile with me is going to be there for a long time. Same goes with the economical status, that if you are rich or poor. If you say that no, today I am rich, but in future I may be poor, or vice versa, today I am poor, tomorrow I'll be rich, that's fine. But again, the condition is the status has to be for a longer period. Nobody can change from poor to rich in just one night. So if I'm talking about your richness or your poorness, it is considered for a long time, and that's why it is taken in the fixed state. Same goes for the political affiliation. Personal description, as I said, if you are asked that how are you in using the verb ser, then you have to say about your description, that how you look, how you are, and you don't have to answer about your status that I'm fine or I'm sick. No, that's not the answer, because I'm asking you about the fixed state of yours. If I say that I am fine or I am tired or I am sick, those are not the fixed states. I am asking you como eres. Eres is the conjugation of verb ser, and ser is used for the fixed state. So I am asking you about how are you in reference to your fixed state. So I have to describe myself that I am tall, I am short, I am whatever, about your attitude. Day, date and time. Today is Monday. So if you say that today is Monday and tomorrow is going to be Tuesday, so it is not fixed. But when I'm talking to you, that is, the condition is fixed. If at this moment I'm talking to you and I'm telling you that today is Monday, that state is going to be for a longer period of time. It is not going to change in just an instant, and it will be changed to Tuesday or Wednesday, right? Next, material. Of course, this is not going to change, this is fixed. A table is of wood, so it will be is of wood, so it is going to remain of wood for forever. It can't be changed to plastic at some point of time. Possession. The question which we have taken in here as an example is the bag of Kose. So I am asking about the position of that bag. Is that bag of Kose? So in the answer we have written it is not of Kose, it is of Carlos. So the bag is possessed by Carlos. It may happen that if you say that the bag is stolen and it is now with Kose, so it is of Kose. No. The original state, the possession was of Carlos. So that's why it is counted as a fixed state. Okay, that was a pretty detailed rules and instructions of how to use and apply the verb ser. Now I'm going to introduce you the next basic part of grammar, just like the verb ser, and it is called as the verb estar. If you notice on the screen, the estar verb has the meaning to be, so it also makes you remember of the verb ser, because the ser verb also means to be. So what's the difference between the two? Now get this difference very clearly in your mind. If you want, you can take out your notebook and first jot this table down and then compare the verb ser table and the verb estar table. First we'll try and understand what this table means, what the verb estar means, and then we'll try and get the difference between the two. The verb estar, that means to be. We have got the subject pronouns on the left, as we had seen it already at some point earlier. Here is the verb conjugation. Verb conjugations of estar are estoy, estas, esta, estamos, estáis, and están. The rules will be the same as we have seen in the verb ser, that estoy will only go with you. Estoy cannot go with tú or any other subject pronoun. Same goes with the other verb conjugations. Estas is for tú. It cannot go with any other subject pronoun except tú. So let's try and get some sentences. The first one, yo estoy alegre or bien. Alegre or bien means happy. Yo estoy alegre. That means I am happy. Tú estás triste. Triste means sad. You are sad. Tú estás triste. Él, ella, usted está cansado or cansada. Cansado means tired. Cansado is for masculine and cansada for feminine. So he or she is tired. Nosotros estamos en la clase. We all are in the class. Vosotros estáis en el jardín. You all are in the garden. Ellos, ellas, ustedes están en la oficina. They or you all are in the office. Now I'll request you to write these words and the entire table in your notebook and try to learn it as much as you can, as this verb estar is also a very important in the grammar of Spanish. Now coming back to the difference between the verb ser and estar, as we have seen in earlier time that the verb ser is used for the fixed state, and the difference for the verb estar is the verb estar is used for the variable state, that is to describe varying conditions such as state of mind, health, etc. And it also uses for the application of situations like placements or to express the geographical and physical locations. Just note that I am talking about geographical and physical location. That does not mean the place of origin. Place of origin is fixed, whereas my geographical or physical location, that where I am right now or where I am going to be tomorrow or where I am traveling, that is not fixed, that is variable. Okay, we'll try and get this clear with an example. We have got a table wherein we have the common applications of the verb estar. As I've said, the verb estar is used when we are describing a variable state. We have a variable state for placements or location, the geographical location. We'll see it by some examples. ¿Dónde estás? Where are you from? If you compare this with the verb ser, we had asked a similar question which might sound same in English, where are you from? But in Spanish it was ¿de dónde eres? That means where are you from? I was using the verb ser over there, eres. So it resembles a fixed state. So by seeing that word, verb ser, that is eres, de donde eres, I must come to know that the question is asking me about a fixed state. De donde eres means the person is asking me about my place of origin. Over here, where are you from? And I've used in Spanish, ¿dónde estás? Estás is the conjugation of estar, that is used for variable state. That means the question is asking me about my location, and that's how I answer. I am in the library. Estoy en la biblioteca. Biblioteca means the library. Next example, ¿Dónde está Madrid? Where is Madrid? Está en España. It is in Spain. ¿Está lejos el banco? Is the bank far? Está cerca. Está detrás del bar. It's nearby. It's behind the bar. Now if you get confused about this location, that I've asked the question, is the bank far? And in the answer I've got the answer as it is behind the bar. So it is always going to be at the same location. The bank is not going to walk and go to some other place. So if you are counting it as fixed state, it is not. And the reason is because a person is trying to point out to the bar and demonstrating the position as behind the bar. Now suppose this statement is said by the person in standing in front of that bar. So he says to the other person that the bank is behind the bar. Now suppose these two persons are standing behind the bar already. Now the statement is changed. Right? He won't say it is behind the bar again. He'll say that it's just opposite to the bar. And that's how the location has changed. And that's the reason that placements and locations in this case is used for the verb estar, for the variable state. State of health, that obviously is going to be variable. It cannot be continuous, it cannot be same for a longer period of time. ¿Estáis cansados? Are you all tired? Sí, estamos cansados. Yes, we are tired. ¿Estás resfriado? Do you have cold? Resfriado means cold. No, no estoy resfriado. No, I don't have cold. The third condition of variable state is state of mind. ¿Cómo estás? Now here again we find what we have discussed it earlier. How are you? The question how are you? ¿Cómo estás? If I ask you ¿Cómo eres? Using the verb ser, ¿Cómo eres? It is about the fixed state, and that's why I had answered that I am tall or I am short. Over here I am using the verb estar and using the question ¿Cómo estás? That means the variable state. I am asking you about your variable state, about your condition, about your status. How are you? ¿Cómo estás? Estoy bien. I am fine. María está alegre. Maria is happy. Again, this is not fixed. She is happy right now, but who knows about the future. So, that was about the verb estar and its application. Here we have got some rules for using the prepositions with a combination of definite article. So for example, they is a preposition that means of or from, and I've got the definite article el. So what happens when these two are seen together? We'll see that the preposition is they and the definite article is the. So when it is singular and masculine, they plus l becomes a combination and it is formed as they'll. If it is singular and feminine, it is they la. They is the preposition, la is the definite article the for feminine. If it is for plural, they and los, preposition and the definite article. For plural feminine, it is they las, preposition they and definite article the, las. So what we see is for singular and masculine, the preposition and the definite article have been combined together. It is not they space l, it is del. But for the others, it is separate. It is not combination. It is not just one word. They are two separate words. Similarly, while using the preposition a means to or at. With the combination of the definite article, what we see is the table below. When singular and masculine, while using the preposition a and el, it combines together and forms a new word called al. When it is singular and feminine, it is separate and it is a la. For plural and masculine, it is a los, and for plural feminine, it is a las. Again the same thing, that while it is singular and masculine, only then the preposition and the definite article are combined together. For rest of them, it is not combined. They are two different words. Next, we have got the prepositions of place. Now let's learn these prepositions of place so that they might be very useful while framing the sentences. The first preposition of place which we learn is sobre. Sobre means on. Dentro de means inside of. Debajo de means under. Encima de means over or above. For the purpose of accent, this is not encima, this is encima because of the rule of the consonant C. Next, al lado de, that means besides of. Delante de means in front of. Detrás de means behind of. Entre means between, and entre also means among. We'll repeat it one more time. Sobre means on. Dentro de means inside of. Debajo de means under. Encima de means over or above. Al lado de means besides of, delante de means in front of, detrás de means behind of, entre means between, and entre means among. So I hope you also make a note of all these prepositions of place and keep practicing on it. Now let's move ahead and we'll see what topic we can learn further. And what we are going to see is another part of a grammar module. Here we have got another verb that has a lot of importance in our daily sentence formations. In English we say a lot of there is something or there are a few things, or ask questions in the form of is there or are there. So in Spanish these cases are dealt with the word called I. You can pronounce it as I. H remains silent and this is I. I is the impersonal form of the verb haber in the present tense. We'll see what the verb haber means in future, but for the time being we'll see its formation. That's I. I has got 4 different meanings, and they are there is, there are, is there, and are there. I is used for indefinite objects with the following combinations. We'll see each combination one by one. First combination. If we are going to use I with the combination of a or an or some or many plus a sentence. That means I plus a or an or some for masculine, a or an or some for feminine. Algún also means some, algunos, algunas, muchos or muchas. Muchos or muchas means many, and plus a sentence. We'll see an example. Perdone. ¿Sabe si hay un teatro por aquí? Here I've used the verb I. In English, if we translate it, we get pardon me, you know if there is a theater nearby. So I wanted to ask a question. There is or is there, and that's why I've used the verb I. Similarly, the second condition, if I'm going to use I plus a number, that, for suppose an example, if we use in English there are 10 mangoes, so what we have done is there are plus numbers. Similarly in Spanish, I plus uno or una, that means 1 for masculine, 1 for feminine, dos, tres, and numbers, so on. For example, hay uno en esa plaza, enfrente del aquel restaurante. Again, we'll say this in Spanish. Hay uno en esa plaza, enfrente del aquel restaurante. That means there is one in that plaza in front of that restaurant. Next is I plus substantive. That is I plus any general statement. So I ask a question, a general question. ¿Hay playas en Madrid? That means, are there beaches in Madrid? So this is a very general question, and I wanted to use the term are there. That's why I used I. The last condition is I plus alguien, or no I plus nadie. Alguien means somebody, and nadie means nobody, and plus some sentence. ¿Hay alguien en casa? Is there somebody in home? No hay nadie en casa. No, there is nobody in home. Again, there is a rule. No hay plus nadie. You cannot say no nadie.
because of the rule of negation, that negation comes before the verb. Here the verb is I. That's why no hay nadie en casa. No, there is nobody in home. This was for the indefinite objects. Let's see what we can do for definite objects. If I want to say something similar, that there is or there are or is there for definite articles, to denote the existence of definite articles, definite objects, peoples or things, we use esta or están instead of I. That's because I is only used for indefinite articles or objects, and for definite objects we use esta and están. For example, el teatro está al final de aquella calle, a la izquierda. That means the theater is at the end of that street, to the left. David está en el laboratorio. David is in the laboratory. So make sure you keep a note of all these rules of esta, están for definite objects and I for indefinite objects. All these are very important for getting accuracy in forming sentences in Spanish language.
Now, let's have a look at the application of esta and están with some more examples. Here, we'll take up some examples one by one. The first example for esta. El libro está sobre la mesa. That means the book is on the table. If this is changed into a plural, then it will be están, where we convert the statement into from singular to plural. That will be los libros están sobre la mesa. That means the books are on the table. Next example, la silla está al lado de la mesa. That means the chair is besides the table. Again, we'll change the singular into plural, where esta will be converted into están and the singular objects will be plural. So here we have las sillas están al lado de la mesa. That means the chairs are besides the table. Next example, la enfermera está delante de la puerta. That means the nurse is in front of the door. Puerta means the door. Again, we'll change this into plural. Las enfermeras están delante de la puerta. The nurses are in front of the door. El gato está debajo del árbol. Gato means cat and árbol means tree. If you note, we have seen a rule of preposition plus definite article. So we have got this de plus el, that becomes del. El gato está debajo del árbol. That means the cat is under the tree. Los gatos están debajo del árbol. The cats are under the tree. Next, el cine está a la izquierda de los niños. That means the theater is to the left of the children. This is a new word which we will be learning. That means a la izquierda. That means to the left. Izquierda means left. Niños means children. Los niños están a la izquierda del cine. Here the position have been changed. So the children are to the left of the theater. El médico está detrás del mesa. El médico está detrás de la mesa. That means the doctor is behind the table. please don't go by the image over here. Even if it doesn't look like a doctor, we have assumed it to be a doctor. Moving ahead. Los médicos están detrás de la mesa. The doctors are behind the table. I hope that now we are clear with the usage of está, están and I. And if it's not, please review and revise what I have taught you earlier and practice more and more so that you get it perfectly. And if you have understood it properly, then let's check it. Let's try to solve an exercise based on está, están and I. So, this is the exercise which you have to solve. And how to solve this is, you have got statements or questions on the left hand side wherein you have to fill in the blanks with está, están or I according to the statement or according to the question. So I'll explain first what questions, what statements are there. First one is question: Perdone dash un banco en esta calle. That means you have to translate this first. I'm not going to translate this time for you. I'll state what new words we have in here. Banco over here means a bank and calle means a street. Rest of the words are already seen by us in the earlier video. So you have to translate the statement first and check which of these three, that is está, están and I, apply in this blank. And whichever applies, you have to write it down in your notebook. Similarly with others, you have to fill in the blank whichever applies from these three, está, están and I. All the new words with their meanings have been written on the right hand side with the red color so that you get what the meaning of the statement is. And after solving this exercise, you can check your answers over here. I have written down the blanks which are there in the exercises. You can check this with your answers. If you're done with this exercise and checking your answers, let's move ahead. And now we have another conversation module. In this conversation module, we'll see the use of the verb ser and the use of prepositions with application of está, están and I in this conversation. So let's start. We'll do it in the same way we have been doing it till now. First we'll read it in Spanish, then to English. Make sure you keep writing down new words in your notebook. So let's start by reading it in Spanish. The title suggests the name ¿Cómo es? We'll start the conversation. Antonio: ¿Es esta la casa de Juan? No, esta no es. ¿Dónde está? Está en la calle del Pino. Es la próxima calle a la derecha. ¿Cómo es la casa? Es un edificio antiguo. Delante de la casa hay un jardín. Es pequeño. En el jardín hay un árbol. Está en el centro. También hay un banco. Está debajo del árbol. Sobre la puerta hay un balcón. En el balcón hay muchas plantas. Entonces, ¿es aquella? Sí. Delante de la puerta está la madre de Juan. Buenos días, señora. ¿Está Juan en casa? Sí. Está con los niños. Están en el patio, detrás de la casa. Now that we have read it in Spanish, we'll try to translate it in English. The title, ¿Cómo es? Means how is, and with a blank, like the question might be how is the house. So let's move to the conversation. ¿Es esta la casa de Juan? Is this the house of Juan? No, esta no es. No, this is not. We have earlier seen a difference between the accentuation marks with two words. So, we have seen a word called esta, wherein we have got the accentuation mark over E, and another esta with the accentuation mark over A. These two are different. So, esta on the mark on E means this, and esta, the mark on A, means is, the conjugation of the verb ser, and this literally means this. Okay, let's move ahead. ¿Dónde está? Where is it? Está en la calle del Pino. It is in the street of Pino. In bracket I've written the Pino street. That means if you go to the Spanish language, over here we have written la calle del Pino. The literal translation is la calle del Pino. That means the street of the Pino. But in English we don't say like that. We say Pino street. So you can use any of the ways you like. Es la próxima calle a la derecha. It is the next street to the right. Próxima means next and derecha means right. It is same as we have seen in the earlier drill module. A la izquierda, that was to the left, and a la derecha means to the right. ¿Cómo es la casa? How is the house? Es un edificio antiguo. It is an old building. Here we have an adjective and a noun. If you remember the rule, the adjective is always after the noun. So here, edificio means the building, and antiguo means old, and hence the adjective old is after the noun. But in English, it is the normal way. It is an old building. Delante de la casa hay un jardín. In front of the house there is a garden. Es pequeño. En el jardín hay un árbol. It is small. Pequeño means small. In the garden there is a tree. Árbol means a tree. Está en el centro. It is in the center. También hay un banco. Also there is a bench. Now I would like to bring to your notice one very important thing over here with this word banco. If you remember in the exercise which we have solved right now, this one, here banco, I said it means bank, and here it means bench. If you see the spelling is also the same. Now the difference is this banco, the bench, the B is small, and in the bank, which means bank, the banco which means bank, banco, B is capital. So I know it might be very tedious thing, but yes, this is a rule which says banco with a capital B is bank and banco with a small b is bench. Okay, let's move ahead. Está debajo del árbol. It is under the tree. Sobre la puerta hay un balcón. On the door there is a balcony. En el balcón hay muchas plantas. In the balcony there are many plants. Muchas means many and plantas means plants. Entonces, ¿es aquella? Then, is it that? Sí, yes. Delante de la puerta está la madre de Juan. In front of the door is the mother of Juan. Madre means mother. Buenos días, señora. Good morning, madam. ¿Está Juan en casa? Is Juan in home? Sí. ¿Está con los niños? Yes. He is with the children. Con means with and niños means children. Están en el patio detrás de la casa. They are in the playground behind the house. So patio means playground. So I guess with this conversation, the use of esta, están and I is much more clear.
Next, we'll see some more examples of definite and indefinite articles. We'll read it one by one. El bar, that means the bar. El peluquero means the barber. El huevo means the egg. Note that all these are singular and are satisfying the condition of being masculine. That's why el is used. Similarly, check the words in the ending, the letters in the ending. Over here, we can see that they are plural. So remove the S in the ending. So we get camarero. So ending is O. That's why masculine. So los camareros. Here it is ES in the ending. So what we get in the ending is N. Again, we have got the condition for being a masculine word. Since it is plural, it is los botones. That means the buttons. Los jardines means the gardens. For feminine, it is la mesa, la secretaria, la campana means the table, the secretary and the bell. Las enfermeras, las dentistas, las casas means the nurses, the dentists and the houses. Okay, I think we have got pretty good understanding of definite and indefinite articles and how they change according to the gender and singular and plural forms. So after learning about definite and indefinite articles, let's move on and learn something about the demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives, unlike English, Spanish has three words to denote this and that. So in English we use this and that, but in Spanish we have got three of them. In English we say this or that depending upon whether the object is close to us or far from us. In Spanish, este means this and ese means that. But as I said that we have got three words to denote this and that. So we have got another separate word called aquel or aquel to denote that one over there. That means we have classified that into two types. Ese means that which is a bit far from us, and aquel means that one over there which is more far away from us. Aquel and aquilla imply the remoteness of the object, as in over there or far away from us. Again we have got the rules for gender and the number of noun, that is singular or plural. So we'll learn that first for the masculine and then for the feminine. Masculine, if we remember the rule, loners, L-O-N-E-R-S, the words ending in these letters are masculine for the most of the cases. So in masculine, singular, it is este, that means this, ese means that, and aquel means that one over there, the far one. For plural, it is estos, that means these, esos means those, and aquellos means those, the far one. For feminine, it is for singular, esta means this, esa means that, and aquella means that one over there. And for plural feminine, it is estas, these, esas, those, and aquellas means those, the far one. We'll see this with an example to get a better understanding of demonstrative adjectives. Este libro, that means we have seen that there is masculine noun and a singular. So, este libro, this book. Ese libro means that book. And aquel libro means that book, which is far more. Similarly with the feminine, esta mesa. Mesa means table. Esta mesa means this table. Esa mesa means that table. And aquella mesa means that table, which is far more the distance than any of them. Now that we have learned the demonstrative adjectives, it's time to test what we have learned. So, here we have an exercise for you. Example, the statement we have is este vino es bueno. That means this wine is good. The answer is aquel vino también es bueno. That means that wine also is good. So, what you have to do is, you are being given 5 statements on the left hand side. On the right hand side, you have to change the position of those objects or those persons. Like in the example, este vino, this means this wine. I've changed it to that wine, so I've changed the distance. This to that and that to this. Okay, that's how you'll solve these 5 statements. Also note that I've included one extra word in the statement, and that is también. También means also. There's a rule behind writing the también word in Spanish, and that is it comes before the verb. So, aquel vino también es bueno. That wine also is good. So, change this to that and that to this, and write down these answers. After you write down these answers, check the answers for yourself, and I hope you are good to go.
We'll now review the verb estar again. If you remember the table, or if you have noted down, you can refer that. We'll review it. The first conjugation, yo estoy, tú estás, él, ella, usted está, nosotros estamos, vosotros estáis, ellos, ellas, ustedes están. Now we'll try forming some sentences with the words we have on the right hand side. Cansado means tired, and bien means fine. So let's try doing something with these. Estoy cansado. I don't need to write yo because of the rule that estoy always goes with yo, so it is pretty much understandable. Estoy cansado. That means I am tired. Estás bien. You are fine. Está bien is fine. Now, here, if the person is not able to understand what esta is referring to, you can write this subject pronoun before esta. So, él está bien. So, he is fine. Ella está bien. That means she is fine. And usted está bien means you are fine. Usted means you, said in a respected approach. Next, estamos cansados. We all are fine, or we all are tired. Note that cansado over here has changed to cansados because all these are plural, and that's why the noun or this word also will be changed to plural. But this does not happen with bien because bien is the same thing, even if it is singular or plural. Vosotros estáis bien. That means you all are fine. Ellos, ellas, ustedes están cansados. They are tired. You cannot write estoy or estás cansados because it is singular and here it is plural. So that match cannot happen. Okay, after reviewing this estar verb, we'll try to use this in some examples. Here I've got some around 10 examples. We'll see that one by one. First, you write this down in your notebook and try to translate these. Luis está bien. Ellos están cansados. Nosotros estamos bien. Carlos está cómodo. La habitación está desordenada. La ventana está cerrada. La puerta está ancha. Juan está enfermo. La mesa está limpia. El cuadro está roto. Now, after trying out translations by yourself, here I have translated this one for you. So, the first statement, Luis está bien. That means Luis is fine. Ellos están cansados. They are tired. Nosotros estamos bien. We all are fine. Carlos está cómodo. Carlos is comfortable. La habitación está desordenada. The room is disordered. La ventana está cerrada. The window is closed. Ventana means window and cerrada means closed. La puerta está ancha. The door is broad. Juan está enfermo. Juan is sick. La mesa está limpia. The table is clean. Limpia means clean. El cuadro está roto. The photo frame is broken. Roto means broken and cuadro means a photo frame. Now, we'll review and compare ser and estar together once again. Because, again, as I said, that ser and estar are the base of the Spanish grammar. So you have to get them, both of them, very perfectly into your mind with their rules, with their conjugations, and the comparison between them. So, as we have seen the tables for ser and estar, we also have noted where ser is applied and where estar is applied. So again, we'll try to review it. Ser. Ser is used in a fixed state. The fixed state can be any of the below: nationality or place of origin, religion, relationship, profession, economical status, political affiliation, personal description, that is tall or short, day, date or time, material, and position. An estar verb is used or applied when the condition is variable, such as the placements or geographical location, state of health or state of mind. Now these are the general categories where it is classified where to use ser verb and where to use estar verb. To get it more clear, we'll see few examples on it. And here are the examples on ser and estar. Now these are jumbled up. These are not classified as ser or estar. That's because by now you should be knowing where to use ser and where to use estar. So these statements will give you more of the idea where to apply them. Again, write this down and try to translate it for yourself. You can search for the new words in the dictionary, or else after some time you'll see the translation over on the screen. So let's start first. Mi hermano es Baco. Mi marido es camarero. Los estudiantes están en el colegio. Nosotros estamos cansados. Yo soy italiano. Fernando y Juan son profesores. Mi novio es bastante rico. Nosotros estamos en primavera. Las llaves están en mi bolso. Mira, ella es María. El café está muy caliente. Juan es moreno. Los zapatos están sucios. La casa de Juan es muy grande. Las verduras son buenas para la salud. Now we'll translate it. Mi hermano es Baco. That means my brother is short. Mi marido es camarero. My husband is waiter. Los estudiantes están en el colegio. The students are in the college. Estamos cansados. We all are tired. Soy italiano. I am Italian. Fernando y Juan son profesores. Fernando and Juan are professors. Mi novio es bastante rico. My boyfriend is sufficiently rich. Bastante means sufficient or sufficiently, and rico means rich. Estamos en primavera. We are in spring. Spring is the season. Las llaves están en mi bolso. The keys are in my purse. Mira, ella es María. Look, she is María. El café está muy caliente. The cafe is very hot. Caliente means hot. Juan es moreno. Juan is dark. Los zapatos están sucios. The shoes are dirty. La casa de Juan es muy grande. The house of Juan is very big. Las verduras son buenas para la salud. The vegetables are good for the health. Verduras means the vegetables. Buenas means good. And salud means health. I hope that you have understood the use and application of ser and estar by now. These are very important grammar words for use in many sentences in Spanish. Just like we have reviewed ser and estar, we'll check the demonstrative adjectives one more time. We'll see the demonstrative adjectives with some examples over here on this table. Este libro es blanco. This book is white. Estos libros son blancos. These books are white. Esta mesa es blanca. This table is white. Estas mesas son blancas. These tables are white. Ese niño es alto. That child or that boy is tall. Esos niños son altos. Those boys are tall. Note that niño, when it is ending with O, it's a boy. And if it is ending with A, that is niña, it is a girl. Next, esa silla es pequeña. That chair is small. esas sillas son pequeñas. Those chairs are small. Aquel cuadro es bueno. That painting or photo frame is good. Aquellos cuadros son buenos. Those paintings are good. Aquella casa es alta. That house is tall. Aquellas casas son altas. Those houses are tall. So that was an example of demonstrative adjectives used in few statements. I hope that you remember these rules of singular masculine, singular feminine, and plural masculine and plural feminine while use of demonstrative adjectives. So if we see that in this table, I'll repeat it for you once more. Este is singular for masculine. Estos is plural for masculine. Esta is singular and feminine. Estas is plural and feminine. Ese is singular for masculine. Esos means plural for masculine. Esa is singular for feminine. Esas is plural for feminine. Aquel is singular for masculine. Aquellos plural for masculine. Aquella singular feminine and aquellas plural feminine. Also remember the rule that of singular and plural. The nouns in Spanish also change the spelling according to the gender as well as singular to plural or plural to singular. So this is where we can see that we have added an S for plural. So let's check how much you have understood with this table and this exercise. We'll solve an exercise over here which is depending on the demonstrative adjectives. So first let's see an example of how to solve this exercise. Estas casas son altas. Aquellas casas también son altas. So that means these houses are tall and aquellas casas también son altas means those houses also are tall. So what you have to do over here is you have to change from this to that or from that to this. And also you have to include a word that's called también, that means also. So again we'll repeat the example. Estas casas son altas. That means these houses are tall. Aquellas casas también son altas. That's how you have to write. So I have changed these houses to those houses with adding an extra word también, that means also. So these houses are tall is converted to those houses also are tall. And that's how you have to complete the blanks for 6 questions or 6 statements. Convert this to that, these to those, and also remember to add the word también and also keep checking whether it's singular or plural. After you complete your exercise, writing down in your notebook, check the answers over here. Those are the answers to the exercise of demonstrative adjective, and I hope you have done well this time. After you have done your solving exercises, let's move ahead, and here we have got another conversation. So we have a conversation module which will keep us try revising our use of the verb estar in the Spanish sentences. So we'll start with the conversation module. ¿Cómo está? This title means how is. Conversations is stated as Buenos días. ¿Está Juan en casa? Sí. ¿Está en la cama? ¿No está bien? No. ¿Está enfermo? Hola, Juan. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy resfriado. ¿Y vosotros cómo estáis? Nosotros estamos muy bien. Hoy es fiesta y no hay clase. ¿Un cigarrillo? No. Gracias. El tabaco negro es muy fuerte. Esta habitación es muy agradable. Sí, pero soy muy perezoso y siempre está desordenada. ¡Qué calor! Claro, la ventana está cerrada. ¿Estás cómodo ahora? Sí, gracias. Estoy muy bien. Now let's try to translate this in English. The first statement. Buenos días. ¿Está Juan en casa? Good morning. Is Juan in home? Sí, está en la cama. Yes, he is in bed. ¿No está bien? Is he not fine? No, he is sick. No está enfermo. Hola Juan, ¿cómo estás? Hello Juan, how are you? Estoy resfriado. ¿Y vosotros? ¿Cómo estáis? I am having cold. And you all, how are you? Nosotros estamos muy bien. We all are very fine. Hoy es fiesta y no hay clase. Today is holiday and there is no class. Fiesta means holiday and clase means class. Un cigarrillo? A cigarette? No, gracias. El tabaco negro es muy fuerte. No, thanks. The black tobacco is very strong. Negro means black and fuerte means strong. And by the rule of adjectives coming after the noun, in Spanish we have said tabaco negro. Esta habitación es muy agradable. The room is very pleasant. Sí, pero soy muy perezoso. Yes, but I am very lazy. Y siempre está desordenada. And always it is disordered. Qué calor. How hot. Claro, la ventana está cerrada. Of course, the window is closed. ¿Estás cómodo ahora? Are you comfortable now? Cómodo means comfortable and ahora means now. Sí, gracias. Estoy muy bien. Yes, thank you. I am very fine. Now we'll learn some general words used in reference to a house. We've got a table that has got the title name as La Casa or the house. And in the table we have got words that we normally use in reference to the house. So we'll learn them one by one. Balcony is said as el balcón. Basement, el sótano. Bathroom, el baño. Bedroom, el dormitorio. La habitación, el cuarto. Any of these. Dining room, el comedor. Fireplace, la chimenea. Floor, la planta or el piso. Garage, el garaje. Passage, el pasillo or el corredor. Kitchen, la cocina. Living room, el salón, el cuarto de estar or la sala. Room, la habitación or el cuarto. Terrace, la terraza. Toilet, el cuarto de baño or el servicio. Now, keep a note of all these words in your notebook for your for the reference. We have one more table associated with this, and we'll learn each one. Here we have the table which suggests the furniture we use in the house. So let's learn what they are called in Spanish. Armchair, el sillón. Bed, la cama. Bookcase, la estantería or el librero. Chair, la silla. Cupboard, el aparador. Desk, el escritorio. Lamp, la lámpara. Shelf, el estante. Sofa, el sofá. Table, la mesa. Wardrobe, el armario or el guardarropa. So also keep a note of all these words in your notebook. At this point of time, before you start from moving ahead from here, make sure that you are clear with all the previous terms that we have learnt. It may be the verbs ser and estar with their rules and application, that where to use ser and where to use estar. Definite and indefinite articles and their uses. Prepositions of place. Demonstrative adjectives. Use of esta, estan and I. And all the rest of the common expressions, professions and the new vocabulary which we have learnt. Make sure that you are all set with all these topics we have learnt, because if you are not clear with all these, go back and learn it again. Don't be in a hurry to just move ahead, because if you are not clear with these basics, it will be very difficult to move on ahead and understand what other topics are. And if you are clear with all the topics till now, then congratulations. We'll move ahead and get deeper in learning the Spanish language. So we move ahead, and here is the first topic which we are going to learn now, and that is the Spanish verb. Spanish verbs are classified according to the ending of the infinitive. Of course, in the dictionary form of the verb, that is the last two letters of the verb. There are three kinds of verbs ending in Spanish. Verbs ending in AR, verbs ending in ER, and verbs ending in IR. So first of all, the Spanish language has classified the verbs in three types. These three types: AR, ER and IR. And according to it, we'll learn the grammar for each of these three kinds. So now, from here on, we'll be actually starting with learning Spanish languages, their sentences, the formation and tenses. We'll see something about Spanish verbs, and then we'll see about the present tense. And here we start with our first tense, the present tense. The present tense is used to describe actions taking place in the present state or time. The conjugation in the present tense of a regular verb ending in AR is given below. So first we'll be taking up the Spanish verbs which have an ending with AR. For example, this is how a verb will look like where it has the ending AR. So we have got a verb that means trabajar, which has the meaning to work. Now, how to use this verb in sentence formations? Here we have got a table which will be denoting the present tense of the verb AR and how to use the AR verbs to form sentences. For using the present tense for any AR verb, what you have to do is remove this AR in the ending of any word and replace them with these words or letters. For example, we have got the word trabajar. So if I want to make it present tense, I'll remove this AR and replace this with these letters, one of these letters, to make it in present tense, and use a conjugation to use it in the sentence. We'll start with an example. I've taken up the word trabajar. Trabajar means to work. We'll remove that AR and put all these letters one by one. So I remove the AR and I put O, and that becomes trabajo. Trabajo goes with yo. That means it will become I work. Similarly, for the next one, I remove the AR and I put AS, and that becomes trabajas, which goes with the subject pronoun tú. That means tú trabajas, which means you work. I remove the AR from trabajar and I put A, and it goes with el ella usted, which now becomes trabaja. That means he works, or she works, or you work. Similarly, I remove the AR again and I put AMOS. So it becomes trabajamos, which goes with nosotros. That means we work. I remove the AR from trabajar and I put AIS, and it becomes trabajáis. That goes with vosotros. Now the sentence becomes you all work. And the last one, I replace the AR from trabajar and put AN in its place. And now it becomes trabajan. It goes with ellos, ellas, and ustedes. So the sentence will be ellos trabajan. That means they work. So again, I'll repeat the rule. To make a verb to be useful in a present tense, you have to remove the AR that is in the ending and replace them as per the conjugation. That will be O, as, a, amos, ais, and an. You have to replace one of these with the AR verb. So here it will be trabajo, trabajas, trabaja, trabajamos, trabajáis, and trabajan. So I have removed the AR from the word and just replaced it with one of these as per the conjugation, as per the subject pronoun. So while writing down in a sentence, I have to write trabajo and not trabajar. If I write yo trabajar, it is wrong because I have not changed the trabajar verb. So if I want to say I work in the office, I have to state something like this: trabajo en la oficina. So this is not trabajar, it is changed as per the conjugation into trabajo. If I want to point out to any person and say Marta trabaja en la oficina, that means Martha works in the office. This is how you have to deal with all the AR verbs to make it into present tense. Here we have got some more list of AR verbs. That is estudiar, that means to study. Cantar means to sing. Pintar means to paint. Nadar means to swim. Comprar means to buy. And tomar means to have. Generally used for the food, to have food. So what you have to do is practice this as many times as you can. For present tense of the AR verbs, just remove the AR in the ending and try putting one of all these letters and repeat it verbally as much as you can to get the accent and to remember them. So we'll take it one by one, and also we'll take these examples one by one. So listen them carefully to get the accent and to get the rules perfectly in your mind. Let's start. Yo trabajo. Tú trabajas. Él, ella, usted
trabaja. Nosotros trabajamos. Vosotros trabajáis. Ellos, ellas, ustedes trabajan. Now I'll repeat only the conjugations of the verb and I will not repeat the subject pronoun. So focus only on the verb with their conjugation. Trabajo, trabajas, trabaja, trabajamos, trabajáis, and trabajan. One more time. Trabajo, trabajas, trabaja, trabajamos, trabajáis, and trabajan. Now similarly, we'll use these verbs, AR verbs, and try to do the conjugation. So what we have to do is remove the AR. Suppose the first verb, S to the R, that means to study. I want to conjugate in this format. So just remove the AR and put one of these in that place. So I remove the AR and I put O. So that becomes estudió. I remove the AR and it becomes AS. Estudias. Keep writing this in your notebook. We'll take it from the start again. For the verb estudiar, I remove the AR verb and write O in place of AR. Now it becomes estudió. I replace AR with AS and now it becomes estudias. I remove AR and replace it with A. It becomes estudia. I replace AR with AMOS, amos, and it becomes estudiamos. I replace AR with AIS and it becomes estudiais. I replace AR with AN and it becomes estudian. So this is it how should be. Estudio, estudias, estudia, estudiamos, estudiáis, estudian. I'll repeat it one more time. Estudio, estudias, estudia, estudiamos, estudiáis, estudian. Similarly, I'll just repeat the conjugation of these AR verbs. You have to practice it by listening, by speaking, and by writing it in your notebook. Cantar. I'll conjugate the cantar verb, remove the AR, and put these letters. So, I'll start the cantar verb. The first is, I remove the AR and I put these. The first is canto, cantas, canta, cantamos, cantáis, and cantan. Again, canto, cantas, canta, cantamos, cantáis, and cantan. Similarly with the next verb, pintar. I remove the AR and I put one of these. So, pinto, pintas, pinta, pintamos, pintáis, and pintan. Again, pinto, pintas, pinta, pintamos, pintáis, and pintan. Nadar, I'll remove the AR and replace it with one of these. So, nado, nadas, nada, nadamos, nadáis, and nadan. Comprar. So, I'll remove AR and write compro, compras, compra, compramos, compráis, and compran. And the last one, tomar, I'll remove the AR and write tomo, tomas, toma, tomamos, tomáis, and toman. Now, I suggest you that, for example, I have written the sentences down here below the table, like for the verb trabajar, right? For trabajar, we have got these conjugations. Similarly, you write it down in your notebook for all these words and try and make some sentences out of those. Like for trabajar, I have written all the conjugations and 2 sentences. Similarly, for each word, each AR verb, you take it in your notebook one by one, write all the conjugations and write some sentence according to you.
and keep it speaking and writing as much as you can to get this perfect. Again, for the last time, I'll repeat the conjugations which you have to put in instead of AR. Just remove the AR and put O, AS, A, AMOS, AIS and AN. So for example, for trabajar, it will be trabajo, trabajas, trabaja, trabajamos, trabajais and trabajan. Go ahead and try out with all these words. So after understanding the rules of present tense and introducing to you the verb AR with an example of trabajar verb, we'll move on and see what the conjugations of this will be, as I've said, but now we'll see it in front of us. I've conjugated each of these verbs for you, so let's check them one by one. The first verb is estudiar. Estudiar means to study. The conjugations of this verb are estudio, estudias, estudia, estudiamos, estudiáis and estudian. The next verb is cantar, that means to sing. The conjugations of cantar verb will be canto, cantas, canta, cantamos, cantáis and cantan. The next verb is pintar, that means to paint. And the conjugations of this verb will be pinto, pintas, pinta, pintamos, pintáis and pintan. The conjugations for the verb nadar, that means to swim, are nado, nadas, nada, nadamos, nadáis and nadan. The conjugations for the verb comprar, that means to buy, is compro, compras, compra, compramos, compráis and compran. And finally the verb tomar, that means to have, specially related to food. The conjugations will be tomo, tomas, toma, tomamos, tomais and toman. Now I have selected one conjugation of each of these and I've tried to frame a sentence. So just for the practice you can refer them. The first verb I've taken is estudiar and I've taken the first conjugation, that is estudio, that means I study. So the example is yo estudio en la clase, that means I study in the class. The next I've taken is cantamos from cantar, that means in a sentence I've framed it as cantamos una canción, that means we all sing a song. Canción means a song. Next is pintar and I've taken pintas from these conjugations and I've framed a sentence saying tú pintas un cuadro, that means you paint a painting. Next I've taken is nadáis from nadar and I've said that nadáis en el río, that means you all swim in the river. Río means river. I've taken compra from the verb comprar and I've framed it like Carlos compra una camisa, that means Carlos buys a shirt. Camisa means a shirt. And the last one I've taken toman from tomar and I've framed it as ellos toman un helado, that means they have an ice cream. Helado means ice cream. Now that we have seen these conjugations with examples, let's try and get some more examples so that you are very clear about the rules of AR verb and the conjugations in the present tense. Here I've got few more examples for you. I've taken the first verb as trabajar, that means to work. And the sentence is la enfermera trabaja en el hospital, that means the nurse works in the hospital. The next is estudiar and the sentence is el estudiante estudia en el colegio, that means the student studies in the college. Next is nadar, that means to swim. The sentence is el chico nada en el río. That means the boy swims in the river. Pasear. Pasear means to take a walk. And the sentence is La chica pasea en el parque. That means the girl takes a walk in the park. I've taken the estudiar verb again and framed the sentence like Carlos estudia en la escuela. That means Carlos studies in the school. Tomar café. Tomar café. That means to have a coffee. The sentence is Antonio toma café en el bar. That means Antonio has a coffee in the bar. Pintar. That means to paint. El pintor pinta un cuadro. The painter paints a picture or a painting. Comprar. That means to buy. Miguel compra un regalo. That means Miguel buys a gift. Regalo means a gift. I hope that you are writing down the new words in your notebook. Okay, now that we have seen a lot of the AR verb and the conjugation, we'll try and see how much we have understood from an exercise. We have got 2 exercises this time, and first we'll see the first exercise and what we have to do with it. There are questions on the left hand side, and let's see the example first. ¿Qué estudias? That means what do you study? You have to understand these conjugations by now. We have studied a lot of them, the conjugations. So by the ending of these verbs, you have to understand what conjugation is and what it means with the pronoun. So, ¿qué estudias? And this means to study. And the conjugation is estudias that goes with the subject pronoun tú. So here the question means ¿qué estudias? That means what do you study? Here in red, I've given you the answers which you have to answer in the blank on the right hand side to this question. So the answer here is Español, and hence I will write the answer as I study Spanish. That means estudio español. The question was what you study? I study Spanish. That's how you have to answer all these 5 questions. So the next will be like ¿qué estudia María? The question is what Maria studies. Here the answer is English. You have to write accordingly over here, and the rest of them also. The next exercise also deals with the same kind of pattern with a different kind of question. For example, ¿Dónde trabaja usted? That means where you work. Usted means you polite, said in a respected manner. So, where you work. The answer given is en una oficina. That means in a office. So, the answer framing will be like this. Trabajo en una oficina. That means I work in an office. So, in the similar way, you have to answer the rest of them. And after answering them in your notebook, check them with these answers. I hope that you have done well in solving these 2 exercises. We have learnt now the present tense of the regular AR verb. Similarly, we are going to start with a new tense, that is the present continuous tense for the regular AR verbs. So let's see how it is. The present continuous tense is used to express the ongoing action in the present time. That is generally what the definition means, and also you must be knowing it very well. In English, the present continuous tense is formed by combining the verb to be with the ing form of the verb. For example, I am working. Your am is the conjugation of to be, and it is combined with the ing verb. Verb is work and the ing part of the work. In Spanish, we do the same thing. We have to form the present continuous tense by combining the verb to be with the present participle of the verb. Present participle means the ing. Here, in Spanish, we'll take to be verb as estar and not ser. And the reason you must be knowing is ser is fixed and estar is variable. And any work which is present continuous or present or any work cannot be fixed for a long time. Suppose I'm working now, that is not fixed, that is variable. Suppose after 5 minutes I'm not going to work, and that's why we use the verb estar while applying the combination with present participle to make it present continuous. The present participle of the AR verbs are formed by adding ando, that's ando, to the stem of AR verbs. So in the previous tense which we have learned, the present tense, what we used to do is we used to remove the AR verb, the AR letters from the verb, and add the conjugations like o, as, a, amos, ais and an. What here we'll do is replace the AR letters of the verb with ando and combine it with the a star conjugations. So look at an example so that you will understand what the present continuous tense actually is formed how. Here it is, I have taken the verb trabajar. Trabajar is an AR verb and I have removed the AR. I have replaced it with ando and thus I get trabajando. That means I've got an ing verb which means working. Trabajar means to work and trabajando means working. And to make it present continuous, I have to combine it with the a star conjugations. This we have already learnt before, the a star conjugations. So what we'll do is just add the a star conjugation, combine it with the ing part, that is the present participle of the AR verb, and thus you get the present continuous tense. For example, the first conjugation of a star is estoy. I have combined it with trabajando and I get I am working. This trabajando will be the same for all the conjugations, and the only thing which changes is the a star conjugation as per the subject pronoun. And I think you are very well aware of these a star conjugations. So this becomes very simple now. You just have to deal with the a star conjugations and just add the ando word of the AR verb. So let's start with the conjugations of the present continuous one by one. Estoy trabajando, that means I am working. Estás trabajando, that means you are working. Está trabajando means he, she or you polite are working. Estamos trabajando, we are working. Estáis trabajando, that means you all are working. Están trabajando, that means they or you all polite are working. Now we'll see some more examples to get this idea clear in our mind. I've taken two examples. First, I've taken the verb called escuchar. Escuchar means to listen. Now, as per the rule, I'll remove this AR. I will add ando in its place and then combine it with the a star conjugations to make it present continuous tense. So there we have the table. Estoy escuchando, that means I am listening. Estás escuchando, that means you are listening. Está escuchando, that means he, she or you are listening. Estamos escuchando, that means we are listening. Estáis escuchando, that means you all are listening. And están escuchando, that means they or you all are listening. Similarly, I have another word called as cantar, which means to sing. I have replaced the AR letters with ando and combined it with the estoy conjugations or estar conjugations. The first one is estoy cantando, that means I am singing. Estás cantando, that means you are singing. Está cantando, that means he, she or you are singing. Estamos cantando, we are singing. Estáis cantando, that means you all are singing. Están cantando, that means they or you all are singing. Now let's see some more examples. Here I've got the same examples which we have seen in the present tense. Now what we'll do is we'll compare the present tense and also revise the present continuous tense so that you are clear that with the AR verb how can you make it the present tense and how can you make it in the present continuous tense. The first verb is trabajar. The first sentence, all the first sentences are in the present tense and the second sentences of each example are the present continuous. So the first verb is trabajar, that means to work. La enfermera trabaja en el hospital, that means the nurse works in the hospital, that's present tense. La enfermera está trabajando en el hospital, that means the nurse works in the hospital, that was present tense. Here I have to make it present continuous, so está trabajando. La enfermera está trabajando en el hospital. That means the nurse is working in the hospital. Next, estudiar. El estudiante estudia en el colegio. That means the student studies in the college. El estudiante está estudiando en el colegio. That means the student is studying in the college. Nadar, that means to swim. El chico nada en el río. The boy swims in the river. That's present tense. El chico está nadando en el río. That means the boy is swimming in the river. Pasear. That means to take a walk or to pass by. La chica pasea en el parque. That means the girl takes a walk in the park. La chica está paseando en el parque. That means the girl is taking a walk in the park. Estudiar. That means to study again. Carlos estudia en la escuela. That means Carlos studies in the school. Carlos está estudiando en la escuela. That means Carlos is studying in the college or school. Tomar café. Antonio toma café en el bar. That means Antonio has a coffee in the bar. Antonio está tomando café. That means Antonio is having a coffee in the bar. Pintar. El pintor pinta un cuadro. That means the painter paints a painting. El pintor está pintando. That means the painter is painting a picture. Comprar. Miguel compra un regalo. That means Miguel buys a gift. Miguel está comprando un regalo. That means Miguel is buying a gift. I hope that with these examples now you are clear about the AR verb and how to use that AR verb in forming the present tense and in forming the present continuous tense. After going through the examples of the AR verbs for the present tense and for the present continuous tense, we'll now look at the list of AR verbs we have in the Spanish language. Here I have tried to include the list of regular AR verbs. This list is just exhaustive, it is not complete in its form. There can be many more AR verbs, but this list is the list which we actually use in day-to-day life, which we normally use, generally use in our day-to-day sentences. So, in these tables and the following tables, which you will see, we have the Spanish words on the left hand side and their corresponding meaning is written on the right hand side. So I'll be just pronouncing the Spanish verbs, the Spanish AR verbs one by one, so that you can get the accent of how that word is spelled or pronounced, and the meaning you can see it on your screen. So I'll be just telling you one by one the pronunciation of all these Spanish verbs. Listen carefully for the pronunciation and see it on the screen for the spelling and for the meaning. So let's start. The first one, alcanzar, alquilar, amar, andar, apagar, arreglar, asustar, atar, averiguar, avisar, ayudar, bajar, bailar, besar, brindar, buscar, cambiar, caminar, cantar, cenar, charlar, chillar, cocinar, colocar, comprar, contestar, cruzar, declarar, dejar, desayunar, desear, desatar, disfrutar. We'll move on to the next tables. Empujar, enseñar, escuchar, estudiar, explicar, exportar, extrañar, fabricar, finalizar, firmar, fumar, funcionar, ganar, gastar, golpear, gritar, hablar, hallar, importar, instalar, invitar, limpiar, llamar, llegar, llevar, llorar, mandar, matar, mirar, nadar, necesitar, odiar, olvidar, ordenar. I hope that you are not only listening or watching the screen but also writing down in your notebook, because these words are very generally used and also very important while framing the sentences. Next list: pagar, pasear, perdonar, perfeccionar, pesar, pisar, prestar, pintar, preguntar, preparar, quemar, recitar, regalar, regresar, reparar, rezar, respirar, revelar, robar, sacar, saltar, saludar, señalar, silbar, soplar, suspirar, telefonear, terminar, tirar, tocar, tomar, trabajar, trepar, usar, viajar, visitar, and votar. So that's a comprehensive list we have got of the regular AR verbs. Please keep a note of it so that can be used in future while framing the sentences. Here we have the conversation module, which is going to help us to understand the application of AR verbs in the present tense and the present continuous tense wherever applicable. So, as the earlier times, we'll start reading it in Spanish first and then move on to English. The images on the right are pretty blurred, but I think it is a good idea to understand them through the conversation. So let's start by reading it in Spanish first. The title is ¿Qué decía? The conversation starts con ser que. ¿Qué decía? Estudiante. Deció información sobre los cursos de español. Con ser que. Pero usted ya habla español. Estudiante, hablo muy poco. Necesito perfeccionar el idioma. ¿De dónde es? Soy holandés. ¿Qué idiomas habla? Hablo inglés, alemán y francés. Estudia o trabajo en una oficina de importación y por las tardes estudio. ¿Usa el español en el trabajo? Sí. Importamos productos español y sudamericanos. Esto es todo. Firme aquí. Muchas gracias. Now we'll translate this in English to understand the meanings of new words and the conversation. ¿Qué decía? Means what do you want? Conserje means a receptionist. ¿Qué decía? What do you want? Estudiante, student. Deseo información sobre los cursos de español. I want information on the courses of Spanish. Pero usted ya habla español. But you already speak Spanish. Pero means but. Ya, that's ya, means already. Hablo muy poco. I speak very less. Necesito perfeccionar el idioma. I need to perfect the language. Now while this conversation is in front of the screen, try to understand the AR verbs and their conjugations. Here up till now we have seen deseo. That's the AR verb called desear. That means to want. Also we have seen another verb called habla. Hablo. So these are the conjugations of the verb hablar. That means to speak. In this sentence we have two AR verbs. That is necesitar, which is conjugated, and perfeccionar, that is not conjugated. Now this is because of the rule that if there are two AR verbs, consecutive AR verbs, if the first one is conjugated as per the subject pronoun, the second one is left in its original form. That means necesitar. The verb is conjugated to necesito, that means I need, and the next consecutive AR verb that is perfeccionar is left as it is. So it becomes necesito perfeccionar el idioma, that means I need to perfect the language. Idioma means language. ¿De dónde es? From where are you? Soy holandés. I am Hollander, or I am from Holland. ¿Qué idiomas habla? What languages you speak? Hablo inglés, alemán y francés. I speak English, German and French. Estudia o trabaja? You study or work? Trabajo en una oficina de importación y por las tardes estudio. That means I work in an office of imports and by the evening I study. Usa el español en el trabajo or trabajo. Use Spanish in the verb. Sí. Importamos productos español y sudamericanos. That means yes, we import Spanish and South American products. Esto es todo. Firme aquí. Muchas gracias. This is all. Sign here. Thank you very much. With this conversation module, we have seen some application of the AR verbs and their conjugations in sentences. So now I would like to tell you that practice more of AR verbs, the conjugations, by using it in sentences and trying to frame sentences so that you now practice using Spanish language to speak rather to just to write and learn. So now try and start some conversation module on yourself. Try and pick out some AR verbs and just translate it. First conjugate it, make a sentence and translate it. That's how you will practice and get better into the Spanish language. So I've already given you a list of AR verbs in the previous tables. There you can pick any of them and start making the sentences. Up till now we have seen the rules which were made according to the singular and plurals of any object or noun or adjective. But we haven't seen the rules of singular to plural itself. So now we'll be learning of how the plurals are formed for the nouns and adjectives in Spanish. In Spanish, the plurals of nouns and adjectives are made according to the letter in which the word ends. The table below will show you about the rules of how to make it from singular to plural. So the first rule is words ending in a vowel, that is A, E, I, O, U, which are in English and Spanish it is called A, E, O, U. If it is ending in one of those in a vowel, then add the letter S in the end. So, for example, camisa buena. We have a vowel in the ending of the word. So we add S in the ending. And it becomes camisas buenas. So these have become the plural now. The next rule is for the consonant. Words ending in consonant, you have to add es in the ending to make it plural. For example, papel azul. Here the words are ending in consonant, so you have to add es in the ending and it becomes papeles azules. Papel means paper and azul means blue, the color blue. Next rule. If the words are ending in the letter Z or Z, then there's a special rule, and the rule is that you have to change this letter Z to C and then add es. So for example, I've got your words like lapis. You have to remove the Z letter in the ending, replace it with C and then add es. So it becomes lapises. The next example we have got is el pez. Pez means fish. Then if you want to make this plural, remove the Z or the Z letter, replace it with C and add es. So it becomes los peces. Similarly, feliz. Feliz means happy. To make it plural, just delete the Z letter, replace it with C and add ES. It becomes felices. Next rule, it's for the words ending in S and preceded by a stressed vowel. For example, here we have English. So the ending is S and before that we have a vowel which is stressed. The accent mark is over the vowel. So it has got the same rule, we have to add ES. That is Ingleses. Just add ES. Similarly for pious. Pious means country. Over here before S the I is stressed. So just add ES. It becomes países, countries. Words ending in the letter S and it is not preceded by any unstressed vowel. It is not preceded by a stressed vowel. It is preceded by an unstressed vowel. It will remain the same in the plural form as well. It won't change or it won't add any S or ES in the ending. So for example, we have got over here El Paraguas. Here the preceding letter has not got any accentuation mark or it is not stressed. So this Paraguas remains Paraguas in the plural form as well. So these two, singular and plural, are the same. Only the articles change. So El Paraguas, the umbrella, or Los Paraguas, the umbrellas. Similarly, we have got tocadiscos. That means record player. Un tocadiscos, that means a record player. Dos tocadiscos, that means two record players. Un lunes, one Monday. Dos lunes, two Mondays. We'll go through some more important rules. The position of the adjectives is often different in Spanish than English, that we have already seen that the descriptive adjectives usually follow the noun. That means, for example, un vino blanco. If we translate it literally in Spanish, it becomes a wine white. But in Spanish, it will be read as a white wine and not a wine white. So that this rule we have already seen before. But this was for descriptive adjective. When it is not descriptive, the rule is not followed. That means, for example, muchos platos. That means many plates. This muchos, this adjective is not after the noun, it is before the noun itself. So it has got the literal translation. Similarly, with another example, el primer piso. That means the first floor. Again, this adjective is before the noun and not after the noun, which has got the rule for the descriptive adjective. That's because in this example, un vino blanco, blanco is descriptive adjective, whereas muchos or primer, these are quantitative adjectives. And this rule of the noun coming before the adjective or the adjective, descriptive adjective coming after the noun, is only followed where it is descriptive adjective, not for any other quantitative adjective. Now we'll try to learn about interrogatives. Interrogatives generally mean about the words which represent a question, to make a statement into a question. So we'll learn some words that are called interrogatives. So the basic word, that is what. In Spanish it is called as ¿qué? ¿Qué means what? It is used to ask about people and things in general. It is also used to ask about actions. For example, ¿Qué es eso? What is that? That is asking a general statement. ¿Qué estudias? What do you study? So here I am asking a person about his action. I would like to request you that you keep writing all these in your notebook, because all these rules will be important to form any question in Spanish. Next, que means which only when it is used with a noun. So please keep it writing, please keep a note of it, because these rules will be changing often. Here above the que means what, and here the que means which. So the rules are different. So please keep it a note and please remember them. Que means which only when it is used with a noun. For example, ¿Qué película deseas mirar? Here the noun is película. Película means a movie or a film. Which film do you want to see? So que is used with a noun. So here while translating it is not what. No, what film do you want to see? No, it is which. Which film do you want to see? Next, de que. De que means of what. For example, de que es. Of what is it? Or in general terms, it is called as what it is made of. De que es tu anillo. Anillo means ring. What is your ring made of? ¿Qué más? Más literally means more. So it will be what more or what else. ¿Qué más deseas? What else do you want or what more do you want? I hope that you are keeping a note of all this. Next we move on to next part of interrogatives. ¿Cuál es? ¿Cuál es means which is or what is. And if we convert this into plural, it will be cuáles son, which are or what are. These two, that is cuál es and cuáles son, are used when asking about specific or definite things. So if we compare this with the previous question, previous interrogative words, that is que is used while using words for general things, whereas cuál will be used when asking about specific or definite things. So for example, ¿cuál es tu número de teléfono? That means what is your telephone number? Here I am asking a definite thing. This is not a general statement. ¿Cuáles son tus libros favoritos? Which are your favorite books? Again I am asking a definite thing. This is not general. A definite thing. Which is your favorite book? So there is going to be a specific answer to it. Next, cuál or cuáles. This is singular cuál and this is for plural cuáles. Cuál means which one and cuáles means which ones. Cuál and cuáles are used in the questions of choice. For example, hay dos plumas. ¿Cuál deseas? There are two pens. Which one do you want? So here I am given two choices of two pens from which I have to select one. So there comes the question of choice and there we have to include cuál. ¿Cuál deseas? Which one do you want? Similarly for the plural. ¿Cuáles de estos libros deseas? Which one of these books do you want? Again I am giving the questions of choice where you have to pick one. So that's why we use cuáles.